on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Mystery of missing billionaire. That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Mystery of missing billionaire. The family of investor Jaswant Rai reported to police about his abduction, and all attempts to know his whereabouts were met with all of silence. And now DCI grilled him last month. According to his lawyer, Kyoko Kilukumi, he was released yesterday by his abductors. We have to get more information as far as that is concerned. And still on the front page, pride of the nation, pride of the nation. Now, she is the greatest of all times. Faith Kipyegon is now the most decorated and the world's best athlete in 2023 by winning 2 gold medals at the World Athletics Championships early in the year. She broke 3 world records in 1,500 meters, 5,000 meters, and mile. So she's the most decorated athlete right now. And she said it's a dream come true to wield gold medals back to back. Churchill, a moment to be proud as a Kenyan. Yeah. With all this happening miles away from home.
Absolutely. It's a good opportunity for the country to build its name in the community of nations, or just people to know that we got skill in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a moment that is really uniting the nation outside the politics. Yeah.
Faith Kipyegon and of course Mora also did her thing there. We hope that is going to be maintained moving forward. Okay, fees outcry as schools reopen for short term. That is fees outcry as schools reopen for a short term. Crocodile, quote unquote, that is Emerson Mnangagwa, wins a 2nd term. We'll be taking a look at that shortly. Taxman nets record cash from airport, as well as Kenyan schools reign in ESC volleyball. Now, on to the inner pages. Whereabouts of Tycoon Rai, still unknown a day after kidnapping. That is a story left with the DCI to investigate how it's going to be. The man who is loathed and loved in equal measure, the so-called Jaswant Rai. Remember, he owns 43% of the total sugar output controlled by Rai factories between early 2021 and October 2022, according to the industry regulator. And yeah, the sugar industry is suffering. But remember, the president said that he's going to install new milling machine at the Mumias Sugar. And I think it's long overdue. The sugar belt has suffered for a very long time, Churchill. And you look at it now to a point that the government decided to import sugar just to bridge the deficit. And we have the sugar belt, which is capable of doing all this. Perhaps it's long overdue.
It's way long overdue. And you know, the key to the backbone of this nation is agriculture.
Yes.
And, you know, when the sugar sector works, other than people just getting sugar to consume, the number of people who also benefit and draw their livelihoods from the sugar sector is huge.
Yes.
And I think that when we look at it from the perspective of not just the amount of sugar that we consume, but also from the livelihood perspective, it is every reason for us to see that the revival of the sugar sector is an agency that is undertaken with utmost faith in the best interest of the farmers and in this country.
Which one works, privatization or fully funded by the government?
I think that it's about, you know, government works for the best good of everyone. And the private sector comes in to build on competition and to beef up what government is not able to. So in my opinion, it is a sector that can be undertaken by both parties. You know, you have government, because you see, when you have the private sector wholly controlling a sector, then it leaves the citizen at the mercy of the private sector. But then when you have government also having controls, then at least there is some leverage that the government can be able to bring that brings the best interest of the people. So both players getting into that sector is something that will be of significance. But I think that it is important to handle this issue from a perspective of looking at where are the cartels, and what is the role of the cartels in the sugar sector in this country. Because I think that for a long time, the people who have made the sugar industry not to survive in this country is actually the cartels.
How sweet is this deal that the sugar industry can never flourish? I mean, going back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, Kenya used to sustain itself. Look at Mumia's talk of Awendo, the Sony Sugar, the Kibos, the Muhoroni, all of them are as good as dead.
Yeah, because you see, now we are looking at scenarios where we don't want to focus on local production. And we are asking ourselves, how much money can we be able to get if we import cheap sugar from outside? So the profit margins that the cartels are looking at is what is making the sugar sector to fall, and the industries are now falling, cannot be able to sustain themselves. Employees can't be paid, the farmers can't be paid. So it's a selfish drive by the cartels in the industry that really, if the president wants to help, they have to crack down on them.
Another question: when you look at when the president was in Masai Mara last week, he said that it's going to be 50-50 between the government of Kajiado County and the Amboseli National Park. Whatever they're going to get from the park itself is going to be 50-50 shared. But then, how about some of these sugar industries taken back to the counties to run? Whatever is given there, or whatever they collect, they have an agreement between the county government and the national government. Do you think it can be reverted back to the county government?
I think there have been working frameworks, even other than the counties. There have been working frameworks before with the farmers, where you got farmers owning certain percentage shares of the companies. And you know, the farmers owning them, it then gives them an interest that, you know, this is our business. That ownership then makes them not to ensure that that thing collapses. So those are models that still can work even beyond even the counties themselves. The farmers themselves being key stakeholders in owning some of these companies. Look at how this has worked in some of the milk factories in Githunguri. So I think that when we genuinely want to revive the sugar sector and decided to create a transformational, disruptive policy framework that totally keeps off the cartels, there are different models that could be employed.
Okay, we'll be taking a look at that later on, but that is on the front page of the Standard. Learners report back to school ahead of a tight academic calendar. Of course, I gave you a rundown on how it's going to be. Now, a quick one. According to the data, the KCS examination are scheduled to take place from November 3rd and will run until November 24th. That is from November 3rd to 24th, with the subsequent marking process set to commence on November 27th and conclude on December 15th, as indicated in the circular. And according to the data released by NEC, a total of 1.4 million, that is 1,415,315 candidates are slated to sit for the KCSE exams, while an additional 903,260 students will sit for the KCSE papers, an increase. And this marks an increase in primary education candidates as compared to 1.2 million and some figures just above 1.2 million who took the papers, signifying a rise of 181,463 candidates. Some 884,263 candidates are also going to start for the 2022 KCSE, so marking an increase of 18,000. What does that really show to the education sector? An increase, 18,000, and the figures are increasingly high.
Well, it shows the success of the 100% transitioning, of the implementation of the 100% transitioning of students from one level to another. And I think that it's also a sign that the higher levels, as the student transition, there is need for proper preparation, especially even as we do the rollout of the CBC curriculums, and also even as we do the rollout of the HEF, that is the higher education, the new funding models. There is need for policymakers to be ready, because that as the numbers increase, the possibilities of preparedness is very important. Otherwise, some of these institutions may be found not ready, and then making that whole thing the key objective of the 100% transition not to be effective.
All right. Okay, something that we'll also be taking a look at later on. Supremacy battles create divisions in Kenya Kwanza. At the heart of the conflict is the elevation of Cleophas Malala, a close ally of the deputy president, but not all leaders are impressed by Malala's place in the political matrix. So the Malala factor in loyal leadership matrix and unity, we'll be taking a look at that. Remember, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi also said yesterday that there is no feud between him and Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Masika Wetangula. So, Alex Manyasi, already in studio. Welcome to the program. We were taking a look at the traffic. Are you a culprit of the victim of the car traffic in Nairobi?
Interesting. There's not much traffic
All right.
on Nyayo.
I'll get to you. I'll get to it. I beg your pardon. Sorry for that. Okay. That's as far as that is concerned. We'll take a look at that shortly. On the front page of the Daily Nation, the cruel face of corruption. The cruel face of corruption. CS Kindiki vows to crack down on Nyayo House graft cartels. The cruel face of corruption. CS Kindiki vows to crack down on Nyayo House graft cartels. That's what's on the front page. Easing the pain. Kenya is hoping least high capacity passport printing machines will help to clear a backlog of 58,000 applications arising from breakdown of machines. Number of cases there, and Kindiki said that it's a quote-unquote crime scene. That is according to CS Kindiki. Kenyans are angry lot, and they have a good reason to be, owing to the pain they go through to access services guaranteed by the Constitution. The process of obtaining essential documents, passports, identity cards, certificates of good conduct, marriage and birth certificates has become an ordeal for citizens. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. Still, Majestic Mora bags gold. Mora and Faith Kipyegon made Kenya proud. Teachers pay to delay as talks stall. That happened last week. And finally, we have options should talks fail. According to Raila Odinga, we have options should talks fail. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leaders have said that they will not be able, or rather will not be held to ransom by a section of Kenya Kwanza leaders opposed to the ongoing bipartisan talks, accusing the hardliners of trying to derail the process.